Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Raid Shadow Legends video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about team power and choosing your opponents in arena. Because team power can be very confusing. Here I had 79,000 team power, my opponent had 110,000, and that resulted in an easy victory. But how can that be? First, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, and if you need a new Raid Shadow Legends account, look no further because I have the best promo link for you down below in the description, up there in the QR code. A new account with Deacon Armstrong after the tutorial, Uugo at 15, Tagoar at level 20, Mausoleum Mage at level 30. Just a phenomenal start to Raid. But let's take a look at team power. So it's fashionable in some circles to say that team power is completely meaningless, but that is not the case either. So team power is based on the sum of stats of the champions in the team with certain weighings, and I don't have the exact formula for you here, but you don't really need it because you're never going to see the actual stats anyway, regardless if you see team power number. But because it's based on the sum of stats, there are some important consequences. First of all, high team power does mean that the team has high stats overall. It just doesn't mean that those stats are in the right places. Like some teams might have health and they might have resistance, and other teams have speed and crit and attack percentage. So as you can see, sometimes enemies are super fast and deal tons of damage, and sometimes they just don't do much at all. Anything is possible with that team power. Sadly, you cannot see where the stats are allocated, so you really don't know if they're good or not. But in general, you can't really assume that people would put their stats in completely wrong places, so that's not the norm. An average team will have an average stat distribution. Also, team aura is not accounted for in team power, so you really want to see what is the leader, what kind of aura does it have, and how is that going to affect things, and in particular watch out for speed auras. Also, multiple champions increase team power more than they increase performance. In Raid, a single level 60 can often take out a full team of level 50s, although level 50s have much more combined stats, but the level 60 is just so much stronger. So you really want to watch out for solo champs with relatively high team power. And team power also does not take champion quality into account. It's only based on stats, not on the abilities. So sometimes you can have high team power, but the champions are really bad, and then that team power doesn't do much, whereas even lower team power with really high quality, let's say some mythical champions or something like that, it can do a lot more. And let's look at some of these things in a little bit more detail. First of all, the team aura. As you climb the arena ladder, you will see more and more teams with a speed lead. So you will see that speed symbol next to the leader of the team, and that means that the team has speed aura at their disposal. They're going to be just that much faster. You can't see that from team power, but they might be going first. They might be killing your team before you get to do anything. So for example, here you can see a couple of teams that I'm facing right now in gold, and like 3 teams have a speed lead. One of them has a health lead. Typically, you can expect a speed aura team to be more difficult to beat than a non-speed aura team of the same team power. However, there are also some non-speed teams that rely on being really sturdy, so that you can't kill them and then they go second, and then they're going to just hit you back so hard. As a practical example, I've been trying to pick on some of these teams with non-speed auras, and there's that Elhain team, a little bit of health but not that much, not very defensive champions, easy victory. And then the one on the bottom, that's Leminisi with an attack aura. Okay, so they don't have any sturdiness and I'm faster, and that means that I can just kill them before they get to hit me back. But then there was also that defeat with that Helicat defense aura. I'm not sure if it was the defense aura or if it was just Helicat, and Helicat giving block damage buff to all of his allies. So yeah, champion quality, aura, these things really matter. And when you look at the team and you look at the team in combination with the team power, that's really when you can come to conclusions. Because obviously if that Elhain team had like 300,000 power, it would be a completely different team than the Elhain team at 100,000 power. And then team power and solo champions. You will see a lot of solo champions on the ladder, and some of these solo champions are scary and some not so. So for example, here, team power 83,000 on a single Alice. So this is a scary solo champion. As a 4-champion team, you'd expect that team to have power of 330,000. We know that there's going to be some cooldown additions. We know there's going to be AoE when we meet that one. So yeah, that's going to be really scary. However, some champions may not be good solo even if they have power, so they just don't have the abilities that make them good solo champions, which means that you just need to know your enemy to pick your opponents. And of course, some people on the ladder just want to D-rank, so this Duedan is not a scary solo champion. 2,900 team power. As a part of 4-champion team, you'd expect team to have power of 12,000, so this is just someone wanting to D-rank, and this is perfectly safe to take on. Finally, there are some quests that require you to beat a team of higher power, so how do you do that? The very best case scenario is if you can find a team of lower level champions. Let's say there's a team of 50s who have a 60 with AoE. You can send that higher level solo champion against a team of 50s because there's a whole team of them. They likely have enough team power so that your solo champion will have a lower power, and then solo champion is just going to wipe them immediately. That's the absolute best case scenario. However, you can't always get that, so then you want to look for a weak aura. Typically, like if you're very fast and your opponent has a damage aura, then that means that you might just be able to kill them before they get to hit back. Or weak champions. So if there's a lot of team power in a shaman or in some other weak champions, then it doesn't matter as much as even less team power would matter on a mythical champion, because the abilities of those champions are just so different. So if you can't find the best case scenario, weak auras, weak champions in the team, try to find those opportunities, exploit them, and you can beat teams of a higher power. So that's team power in a nutshell. It's not meaningless, but it also doesn't give you a full picture of what the team is capable of. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.